We're really excited today to be talking about opportunities in Southeast Asia and particularly at VIATT for UK textile companies. We're delighted to be joined by colleagues and friends from Messe Frankfurt, who will be able to help us talk about VIATT over the next period. So we are joined today by we've got Tanya Choi, who will be presenting later. She is Assistant Sales Manager at Messe Frankfurt, Hong Kong. We are also joined by Jane Matthews, who many of you will know. She's our main point of contact at Messe Frankfurt, UK. And we're also very happy to be joined by Kathy Lai, who will be able to answer any questions that you may have at the end. Just to quickly run through the agenda, I will give a quick presentation on the opportunities in Vietnam and more broadly in Southeast Asia, and we will then hand over to Tanya, who will be able to talk more specifically about VIATT and what the opportunities are for British businesses there. And we will finally move on to the question and answer section. A quick bit of housekeeping. If you encounter any audio or video issues, then do let us know in the Zoom chat box. And please, for Q&A, use the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen to put your questions in there. So, for those of you who don't know, UKFT is the largest network for fashion and textiles in the UK. As the industry's leading trade association and sector skills body, we are committed to delivering sustainable growth for the entire UK fashion and textile supply chain. We bring together brands, designers, manufacturers, suppliers, educators, and retailers to promote their businesses and our industry, both in the UK and throughout the world. We offer practical advice and technical support to help member companies grow and trade internationally. We support businesses with complex global supply chains, as well as helping to drive a resilient and innovative UK manufacturing sector. UKFT is also the organisation responsible for Intertextile licenses and correct use of the symbols in the UK. We can offer advice and guidance on labelling requirements in all major markets throughout the world, covering care labelling, fibre content, country of origin, and flammability. Please visit ukft.org to find out more. So to give you a quick overview of Vietnam, this is a market that UKFT has been monitoring now for several years. Vietnam and more broadly Southeast Asia represent huge growth opportunities for UK fashion and textile businesses, and we have had many of our members coming to us and asking for advice on the region and what opportunities and challenges there are for UK businesses. So over the last couple of years, we have now attended VIATT twice, and we've taken the opportunity to do some research into the market. And I think it's clear to see that there are lots of opportunities. In 2024, the GDP of Vietnam grew by 7%, and the government then set a target of GDP growth of 8% in 2025, a target that they achieved. Partly as a result of this huge GDP growth, there is a burgeoning middle class in Vietnam. So the population now stands at 100 million, and the middle class is projected to double to 26% by the end of this year, and is projected to exceed 50 million people, or more than 50% of the population, by 2030. So we're seeing that the consumer class, the middle class in Vietnam, is growing very rapidly. Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon as it's sometimes known, the city where VIATT is based, is, according to Savills, the second fastest economically growing city in the world. And to support that, a lot of new infrastructure is being put in place. A new airport is being constructed near the city, and it's due to open later this year. And this comes at the same time as a new 8-line metro system. The first couple of those lines have now been opened, people are using them, and that's a real change to the way that the city operates and making it much more modern and allowing people to move around the city very easily. Vietnam's attitude to trade is evolving quite rapidly. For many years, they've been a very export-heavy country. They continue to be. However, global economic events over the last 18 months have meant that they have had to reevaluate that somewhat. They're still very proud to be a predominantly exporting country. However, they are now looking for import opportunities and more mutually beneficial agreements as well. Which leads us on to the UK in Vietnam. So the British Embassy is based in the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi, which is in the north of the country. And the British government's activity there is predominantly political and diplomatic. The Consulate General is based in Ho Chi Minh City in the south of the country. The consulate is led by the UK's Department for Business and Trade. Alexandra Smith, who is the UK's Consul General in Ho Chi Minh City, also leads the Department for Business and Trade's activity in Vietnam. So the team there is very commercial, very helpful. Our relationship with them is very positive, and I think this is a very good example of a trade association and UK government working well together, because this consulate, this team has managed to deliver a lot of leads and facilitate some really good introductions for several of our members over the last couple of years. So I would say that if you're interested in engaging in activity in Southeast Asia, particularly in Vietnam, to try and use that resource that we do have there. The UK signed a free trade agreement with Vietnam in 2020, which effectively replicated the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement. And more recently, at the end of 2024, the UK joined the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership, or CPTPP for short, of which Vietnam is a member. This is something that people in Vietnam and around the Asia-Pacific region, I think, are very excited about. We're still at UKFT not sure that there are huge benefits compared to the regular FTA. However, the mood music is very, very positive. The bilateral relationship between the UK and Vietnam seems to be very strong at the moment. As I say, that's been based off a lot of good diplomacy. But I think that this is something that is very positive. As a result of a lot of this work and these agreements, according to the UK government, exports from the UK to Vietnam grew by 9.9% in 2024, and they are expecting to see those numbers continue to grow. So I think this is a really interesting and opportune moment for British businesses to start looking at Vietnam now, before it becomes even bigger. A quick overview of UK trade in 2023. We can see there that for fashion and textiles, we are still a country that is predominantly importing from Vietnam. However, we do have some not inconsequential exports to Vietnam as well. Again, these are numbers that we expect to see rising over the coming years. And I think one of the very important things that British businesses should look to leverage in Vietnam is soft power. The UK has very, very strong soft power in Vietnam for many reasons, but I think two that are particularly strong are education and football. Education is something that people in Vietnam place a very high value on, particularly with that growing middle class. It is a real status marker, and people are really looking to study hard. The Ministry of Education and Training in Vietnam has set a project to teach English to 100% of the population by 2035. The British Council is very active in Vietnam. The British Council actually has offices just across the road from the VIATT trade fair, but their presence is very obvious around Ho Chi Minh City. And again, they're very active. What we've also seen is that international schools, and more particularly British schools, are very prestigious in Vietnam, and many people are looking to send their children to these prestigious British schools. So Sedba and Brighton College, two very well-known British private schools, have set up establishments in Vietnam in the last few years, and I think others are looking into that possibility as well. And then I think anyone who has been to Vietnam, and I've now been a couple of times, knows that anytime you meet people in Vietnam, you get into a taxi, and they find out that you're from the UK, immediately people start asking you about the Premier League. It is huge in Vietnam, and everyone wants to know which team you support. Unfortunately, the answer of Everton doesn't go down nearly as well as Liverpool or Manchester United, but it's incredibly popular, and people spend a lot of time watching it. It's shown, Premier League TV is shown basically 24/7 in bars around the country, so people are watching it constantly. According to the BBC, half of the Premier League's global fan base is in the Asia Pacific region. 386 million people in the region watched the 2021-2022 season. So this is really something that British businesses could potentially look to harness when they are looking to target Southeast Asia and more particularly Vietnam as a market. Now, I'll stop sharing for a second and I will hand over to Tanya. Tanya is going to run us through a presentation, giving us more information about VIATT. And at some point, Jane, again, who is the main point of contact for British businesses looking to talk about Messe Frankfurt events, will be able to contribute as well at certain points. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time to be here with us. I'm Tanya from Hong Kong, Messe Frankfurt, Hong Kong, the organizer of VIATT. VIATT is a comprehensive sourcing platform designed to bridge the gap between the global textile innovators and regional buyers. And it is held once a year every February at the Saigon Exhibition and Convention Center, which is right in the heart of Ho Chi Minh City. The show is curated to reflect the full textile supply chain, clearly divided into three sectors: apparel fabrics and garments, including some fiber and yarns, home and contract textile, and technical textile, alongside with the latest textile processing technology. And here are some exhibitor figures to let you know more about the scale and participation. Our most recent edition happened in February, brought together 460 exhibitors from 21 countries and regions. And 65% of exhibitors fall into the fabrics, apparel and apparel fabric sectors, including some fiber and yarn suppliers. 23% is focused on home and contract textiles, and 12% dedicated to technical textile, non-wovens, and some textile technologies. But rather than just sharing the numbers, let's take a look of the video highlight from the recent edition. And this is the seminar stage, main stage for the opening ceremony. And we have invited different guests, VIP guests to be here. You can see some apparel fabrics and fashion accessory, and home textile and contract textile. We also have the technical part and the machinery. And we also have some different pavilions which I will go through one by one later. And also we have some trend forum, more than just a booth, the seminar section. And we also have the business matching program to provide to exhibitors. Apart from that, we also have the fashion show. So as you can see from the footage, VIATT has grown into quite a significant scale, covering 18,000 square meters across two exhibition halls. This makes it part of building this diverse platform comes down to our international partnership. And every year, we are happy to work with global organizations and associations to host some official countries and region pavilions. Like in previous edition, we were happy to have China pavilion from different provinces covering all three sectors. And alongside with the German pavilion organized by the Federal Ministry for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, and UMA. We have a very strong at technical textile. And we were also glad to host the Indian Pavilion via Techtextil with the focus on cottons. And previously, we also have the Korean pavilion supported by the Korea Fashion Textile Association, which is very strong at the fashion textile. And last but not least, we always have the Taiwan Pavilion organized by the Taiwan Textile Federation. And beyond these official pavilions, actually, VIATT also features some independent feature songs for some countries. They are Japan song, Turkey song, and the dedicated European song. All have the spotlight in the event. Talking about an European song in particular, this song has become a real hub for premium quality. We have been delighted to host companies with different product types from Bulgaria, France, Germany, Italy, Portugal, Switzerland, and of course the UK. These brands have set a fantastic benchmark for the quality at VIATT, and we look forward to watching this European community expand on the show floor in the coming editions. And of course, a good fair is ultimately judged by the audience brought to your stand. In VIATT 2027, we welcome over 17,000 visitors from 54 countries and regions, and 64% of them are domestic Vietnam's manufacturers and brands. And while 36% travel from overseas markets, such as the US, Japan, Malaysia, and Thailand. We try all the best to maintain this global reach and diversity every season and every edition. And to facilitate our exhibitors' meetings, the right decision makers, we also run through the VIP buyers program that brings in major fashion brands from different countries. And also we will invite buyer delegations from countries like Australia and Thailand. Our team also coordinates business matching on site to connect the exhibitors with the right buyers. Like last season, last edition, this resulted in over 350 face-to-face business meetings. While these business meetings are highly valuable, we always aim to create a more diverse platform, more than just a table and a booth. VIATT is built to an interactive platform where you can gain extra visibility through the trend forum, live fashion shows, and educational seminars. The Trend Forum is major creative anchor for the show, created by the Nelly Brody agency in Paris and designed by Initiative in New York. It is usually the most visualized and high traffic area of the fair. It attracts designers and product developers for seasonal inspiration. As an exhibitor, to benefit from this, you are actually encouraged to submit the fabrics to be featured here, giving your products an extra visibility and driving the traffic to your stand directly. While for those looking to see the fabrics in motion instead of static, our fashion show offers an intimate stage for imagined fashion labels and designer to showcase the finished collection to the live audience. And alternatively, if your brand focuses on trend settings, innovation, or sustainability, you can take the stage at our seminar stage. It's a fully equipped professional space designed for sharing market insight, technical updates, or sustainability concept in front of your potential buyers. Ultimately, we want VIATT to be far more than just a standard trade show. By bringing together global suppliers and buyers to this interactive platform, we aim to provide a complete ecosystem that supports your brand's export journey into the ASEAN market. If you're looking to explore this market next year, the application for VIATT 2027 is actually now open. It will be taking place from 24 to 26 of February and at the same location as ECC in Ho Chi Minh City. In order to make your participation more impactful, we are glad to have partnered with UKFT to create a dedicated space designed specifically for the British companies, the UKFT Pub. And the concept behind is to offer a smaller but highly manageable stance, ideally for the brands wanting to test the waters with a highly accessible budget and minimal preparation. The participation is priced at 2,070 US dollars per stand. And by anchoring the pop right inside the European zone, you will also gain the advantage of a strong collective presence alongside with their fellow European companies. To make it more convincing, we actually offer extra support of £200 subsidies for the first 10 applications. Well, here maybe I will let Jane to let you know more about the subsidy program. Hi, Jane. And Jane is our Messe Frankfurt representative based in London.
Hi, I'm Jane Matthews. Probably some of you know me already. We've probably seen each other at many shows. But thank you, Tanya, for that really lovely presentation, and Dan for the introductions. It's just so lovely seeing all the slides going through. It's such a vibrant, fantastic show. It is a new show, but it's really, really gathering momentum over the last few years. And the idea of the UKFT pods came last year. We kind of put it together because I've been collaborating with the UKFT with Dan and Paul for a few years on different things. We've done Intertextile Shanghai, apparel fabrics. And they're also going to be taking part in Association Village. So quite a lot of exciting things happening. But obviously the UKFT pod is, the most exciting thing that we've been putting together. And we wanted to try and expand it this year. We did a small pod last year, which was really successful. And to help you along the way, the Messe Frankfurt UK are supporting by giving a 200 Sorry, apologies. I don't know what's happening in mid-flow there. I hope we're back on track now. The Messe Frankfurt UK are supporting by offering £200 subsidy for the first 10 applications to the UKFT pots. They're going to be around 4.5 square metres, but that may changed. I mean, we've just got to see how many applications we get and how we can understand it. But you can get an idea from the little visual that we've got here. It gives you enough space, and we will be bringing buyers over to the stand. We will be doing some business matchmaking as well. So there's a lot of support going on into the pods. It's not just you're going to be put there and you're left to your own devices. Dan will also be there within the UKFT pod as well. So there's always lots of support, and I'm obviously based in the UK, and you can always get in touch with me and I can give you all the information. There's probably quite a lot of information to take on now, so you can get in touch with me individually if you're interested, and I can send you all the details. But together with the UKFT, it's all these opportunities are fantastic. We've collaborated. We're trying to help UK companies get the exposure that they need in these Asian countries, and because there's a huge potential out there for everybody. So this is what we're kind of working towards and we're aiming for. If you've got any questions, obviously we've got the Q&A coming up. So if you've got any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Yes, and like kind reminder that the application deadline for the UKFT pub is 30th of October. So if you're really interested to know more, please feel free to reach out to us. And so that's all for the overview. And thank you so much for your time again. And this is our contacts. Please feel free to drop us an email. And thank you again for your time, and we hope to see you in Vietnam.
Thank you very much, Tanya and Jane, for that. I have to say, we've now done this for the last couple of years, where we've exhibited at VIATT, and we've we've really seen how this show has grown because the last edition was only its third ever edition. So we know that Messe Frankfurt are very good at putting together trade shows, particularly in Asia, and it's very impressive to see how quickly it's grown. And I'm pretty confident that it will continue on that trajectory. I think as well, my personal experience at the show is I've seen a real range of quite interesting people. So as you will have seen from Tanya's slide, international retailers, sportswear companies that are really household names, but then also seeing a lot of luxury tailors from both Vietnam and around Southeast Asia. I know people going to the show looking for really niche technical textiles. There's a very important interior textile sector as well. So I think it's a very varied show in a good way. And as I say, you see a very interesting mix of people from around Southeast Asia, and actually quite interestingly, at the last show, a lot of people from South Asia as well. So a lot of people from India, a lot of people from Sri Lanka, which again are markets that we're looking to target. So it was very interesting to see that different mix of people that we would normally see at European shows. So just moving on here to the Q&A section. Selfishly, I wanted to start with a few. Firstly, I wanted to know, Kathy, would you mind quickly introducing yourself? And then I have a couple of questions for you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Kathy from Messe Frankfurt, Hong Kong. We organize textile trade fairs in Greater China and also in Vietnam. So I'm here for the questions.
Fantastic. So I think what a lot of people are really curious to know is Messe Frankfurt runs a number of very successful textile trade shows in Asia. Intertextile Shenzhen, I think the one that most UK companies will know best is probably Intertextile Shanghai. Why did you then decide to start VIATT, which it's a different show in some ways? Some might view it almost as competition for Intertextile Shanghai. What was the thinking and the purpose behind starting VIATT?
I think first, Intertextile Shanghai and VIATT actually are two very different shows. We have been doing Intertextile Shanghai for more than 30 years now. The Chinese market is very, very mature and it's huge, attracting a huge number of suppliers and also buyers to the market. But we all know the market the dynamics have been changing, especially after COVID. So we have been looking at the Vietnam or the Southeast Asian market for quite a long time. And after COVID, we believed it's the right time to set up the show. And ever since the first edition of VIATT, I think we have proven the market's there because our exhibitors who joined both Intertextile Shanghai and VIATT, we got very good testimonials from them actually because they were able to meet quite different buyers at both shows. So we would say Intertextile Shanghai is a must-attend event, but VIATT will allow you to meet some new buyers from different markets, especially those emerging markets.
Very interesting. And a follow-up question from that, and I know there's been lots of discussion about this. The show is currently being held in Ho Chi Minh City, which many view as the commercial capital of Vietnam. Are there any thoughts to essentially move it, have another edition in a different place in Vietnam, maybe Hanoi, the political capital, Hoi An, which is where there's a huge tailoring and manufacturing hub, or potentially elsewhere in Southeast Asia? Is there any thought to that at the moment?
We do see growing potential in Southeast Asia. we haven't heard from the management that we are going to start another show in Vietnam or other parts of Southeast Asia yet, but I'm sure we are keeping a very close eye to how the markets are developing. Vietnam is a very interesting country. We have spent a lot of time studying about Vietnam and the nearby region, especially, of course, on textile industry. And in Vietnam, we'll say Ho Chi Minh City is the most important commercial city in the country. But as you mentioned, in the northern part, like Hanoi, or in the central part of Vietnam, there are also some huge clusters of textile manufacturing that we have been visiting. At the moment, we really don't have news for another textile show in Vietnam, but we will keep an eye on that, and we will let you know if we got any news.
Thank you very much, Kathy. As I say, I know one of the real draws to Vietnam for the textile industry is that incredibly strong garment manufacturing sector. So we know that many UK textiles are turned into garments in Vietnam already, and we're trying to find ways of really harnessing that power, and as I know that you are as well. Tanya, a question for you probably. You in your slide, you showed that 65% of the companies are apparel, and then about 20 for interiors and less than 15 for technical textiles. For potentially for technical textile companies, for interior textile companies, and for print designers as well, who might not be aware if this show is for them. Do you think that there are lots of opportunities for those kinds of businesses as well? Are there opportunities for spinners, for example? Do you think that this is the right show for companies that may not be represented by the majority of the exhibitors there?
Yes, I think we're still the proportion you see might be relatively low at this moment. But still, I think Vietnam is a very strong potential to do the technical textile because there are a lot of functional wear manufacturers over there, and I think and the export of that side, that part is still increasing. And also, I understand there are quite a lot of people are doing their different technical business over there. I mean, technical textile business over there. So I think it's a very large potential to go there, have a visit, and have a try.
Excellent. And you also spoke about the business matchmaking program that you have. Would you be able to speak a little bit more about that, and what does that involve?
Actually, for the business matching part, we will initially invited some VIP buyers from our database and do some market research to invite some local buyers to come over our show and do the business matching. And also, apart from the brand buyers, we have also coordinated with some associations to organize some buying delegations. So to ensure there are some right buyers and different buyers from different countries come over to the show, and after that we will do the business matching, and we will screen the exhibitor and what types of products the buyers are looking for, and which buyers, which exhibitors we think is suitable for them to meet up, and then we will organize and do some matching internally, and then arrange some on-site meeting for them.
Thanks. And then, so outside of the show, or I guess even at the show, are there any specific networking receptions or events where people can, because I think that's often a lot of people view that as quite a nice way of getting to meet fellow exhibitors who they might not normally get to meet during the show as they're very busy on their stands. but
Yeah.
interesting buyers and having that opportunity.
Yeah, we usually, in our shows, no matter in VIATT or in Intertextile Shanghai, we usually have some networking event for the exhibitors. Those networking event, we're inviting some exhibitors, select exhibitors, and some VIP buyers, and also some associations, so they can get a chance to mingle and then catch up and exchange the business card during that event.
Fantastic. And this is a general question. I don't necessarily know who would be best to answer this, but one of the questions that we had come in was regarding freight forwarding customs. Basically, if people are interested in showing at VIATT, how do they get their samples there? Do Messe Frankfurt have contacts that they can assist with?
Sorry, do you mean the forwarders? Right.
Yes.
Yeah, we do have the official forwarders assigned it. And so if you have some things would like to ship over in advance or the portion is a bit too large for hand carry, then you can contact our official forwarder to get a quote.
And so for UK businesses, would the best way to get in touch be through Jane, probably for that?
Yeah, I can share. Yeah, once we have the more details about the contact person, and then we can share with you.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you could definitely come through me. That's absolutely fine. Obviously you can get your own quotes as well, and we have used other people as well. But so, it might be worth getting some comparisons if that's something you're worried about and concerned about.
Thank you. Then is there the potential, because this is a very different country, and a lot of people won't have been and done business in Vietnam before, are there translators that are available to help on stand or general translation services to help businesses communicate more clearly with local business people?
Yes, we do have this service, and exhibitors just need to apply, inform us and then apply through us, and then with a charge. And we usually provide different local language and to English language or even Chinese. So this part is definitely don't worry.
Fantastic. I can't see that any questions have come in. So what I might do at this point is I will wrap up there, unless anyone else had anything to add. No. Well, thank you very much to Tanya, to Kathy, and to Jane. We, as always, very grateful for the support and the collaboration with Messe Frankfurt, as Jane mentioned, across a number of different events. We are very keen to continue engaging with VIATT, and we view this as a real opportunity for UK businesses. So we are very happy to continue to answer questions, to put people in touch with Messe Frankfurt over the coming months. If you have any questions or you want to connect with the team, then please get in touch via info@ukft.org. And as Tanya said, the deadline for applying for the UKFT pod is the 30th of October. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So up until that point, please get in touch. Ask as many questions. We'd be delighted to see as many of you there as possible. If you have questions for me, for Jane, for Tanya, then you can go back and find their emails in this as well. And we look forward to being in touch with you all. Thank you very much, and have a lovely rest of the day.
Many
Thank you.
Thank you very much.